wanted to give this talk. I actually talked Phil into doing it because I've had a lot of questions and I figured out that there's a lot of misinformation out there about what's going on. So I thought maybe I could clear a little bit of it up. I'm a board member of Palapino County Municipal Water District Number 1. That's a mouthful. And it is, there are 5 of us board members. The other board member, Lion David Turk, is our president. Gene Waddy, Rich Kidwell, and Kelly Rawlings, along with me, are the board members. We are appointed by the City Council of the City of Mineral Wells. We are a separate entity created by the state legislature for the sole purpose of water supply and treatment plant for mineral wells. In accounting vernacular, we are considered a component unit of the City of Mineral Wells, and we get a separate audit of our financials, but that audit has to be included in the city's financial statements also, because we exist for the purpose of the city, and the city appoints us. So that even though we're a separate entity, we're connected, and we are, there's really no conflict. I think the whole purpose, and I'll get a little bit to the history because that explains it better maybe, but we concentrate on water supply and getting treated water into the city. That's our mission. That's what we do. The City Council has a gazillion other things to think about and go through, and we think about water all the time. Every time we meet, that's what we're about. So the district was started sometime before 1963, and their first project was to build Lake Palapino. It was initially supposed to be 44,100 acre feet. They built it. They built it at a level of 863 feet, and shortly thereafter, they raised the dam, and it is now 867 feet is full capacity of Lake Palapino. That was in 1963, and so the Texas legislature approved, and the Brazos River Authority, because we are in a tributary of the Brazos River, they approved mineral wells to have 44,100 acre feet water rights out of Palapino Creek. Okay, that's important because from 1963 to 1985, people noticed that our lake got kind of low before the next rain came and filled the lake back up, you know, and why are we, you know, with 44,100 acre feet, why is it draining? What's wrong? Well, by 1985, they had new equipment to do volumetric surveys. And so it turns out that our 44,100 acre feet lake only held 27,650 acre feet. You know, just a little over half. So we're behind the 8 ball. We were behind the 8 ball when they finished Palapino Lake in 1963. And through the grace of God, we didn't run out of water. So that 27,650 feet is now, we've done a new volumetric in 2008. It had gone to 27,215. And that's that siltage and shifting and whatever, okay? So in 1989, the preliminary plans have started about we need more water. This is not this year, this is not 2020, this is not even 2000, this is 1989. And so I was not on the board then. Actually, in 1963, I was in high school, so I didn't know a whole lot about what was going on. But our when I moved here in 1973, our firm did the audit on the water district for a whole bunch of years up until 2009. So I'm kind of familiar with what went on in those years. A lot of sites were talked about, you know, nothing was omitted about where we might get a new source of water. The one thing that was pretty much a given was that it wouldn't come from the Brazos River because that water is too salty. And Mineral Wells had tried that before, and it was a disaster. And this is back even before I was in high school. Out of all the things, Inox Creek was talked about, Turkey Creek was talked about, but the most economical and desirable by the engineers was Turkey Peak. They even had a situation where they were going to pump water from Palo Pinto Lake when it filled up to some draws and hollers close by, and then when it was at flood stage, whatever, and then they would gravity flow it back into Palo Pinto Lake and keep it full. Too expensive. And golden cheek warbler habitat. Two strikes. One strike you might get around, two strikes you can't. So Turkey Peak is it. That's 1989. So between 1989 and 2015, the water district struggled to get a permit from the state of Texas. And in 2015, we finally got it. And it, coincidentally, that was right after the referendum on the election in the state of Texas that overwhelmingly said the Texas legislature needed to make more plans for water. So it didn't happen before 2015. So we got that permit, and then all was left was we had to get the Corps of Engineers permit, the federal permit, because you have to have both. We got that in 2018. And I've got obviously Lon Turk and Howard Huffman here, but that was a fist fight, wasn't it, with the Corps of Engineers? And I'll just leave it at that. There's no sense in rehashing that, but those permits are not easy to get, and they don't like, at the time, the people at the Corps of Engineers, they thought streams were better than reservoirs. I'll leave it there. So,
Lake Mineral Wells ever considered, Don?
What?
Lake Mineral Wells, was it ever considered?
Absolutely, and it still is a water supply for us, and it'll give us 3 months water supply.
Okay.
Did it have to be treated, reverse osmosis?
Mineral wells, Lake Mineral Wells, no, but it'd have to be pipelined.
Mm-hmm.
And
Did it serve the Army base?
I think maybe it did.
It was the city water supply until Palo Pinto was built.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it was.
Yeah.
And it was inadequate then, but,
Now, there's still a line from the lake down to the water plant, because they cut into it for the country club, and that's used to what feeds the country club, to their tank.
so between 2018 and April 4th of 2024, which is today, we have 94% of the land acquired for the lake.
We acquired some more land this morning.
Okay, 97%. Okay, good. All right, we're up to 97%. This is cleanup things that happen when you're going through potential condemnation problems, and you've got to flush out, and there are title problems with land that have to be solved. There's survey that have to be done, and then you have to evaluate, what have I done to this piece of land after I survey it and say we need it for the lake? Have I cut somebody off, from getting to their property? I mean, there's just all kinds of things that happen, but we are 97% done.
Good.
And we go to the Texas Water Development Board for financing in June. That's where we are. This is,
You see a problem with that?
no,
Okay,
they've been waiting for us.
okay.
They have always been very supportive of this project. It's an unusual project, Bill, because it is west of I-35. How many impoundments do you know that are getting built west of I-35?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That many. We are number one there.
Clay County's close on Lake Ringgold.
Are they?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we're ahead of them though.
You are, but they're catching up fast.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think, to think about somebody, I don't know what the other municipalities are gonna do that are west of I-35. And with the construction costs and everything that we're dealing with,
Are the rumors true that Weatherford and Parker County is in the same situation we are, just not to a great extent?
part of Parker County is in the Trinity aquifer, and part of Parker County is in the Brazos. So the part that's in the Brazos is in the same predicament.
Yes.
Yeah, because that they, and we can talk about in a minute about some other alternatives. I thought that would come up. So we have been drought stage 2 for over a year. If y'all remember that, I can tell by my yard exactly. No outside water, conserving, and we are 40% full today, maybe slightly over, but not much. At this time last year, we were at 53% full, this exact same time. And we got down to 27% full in September. And then we got a rain, and we got a little reprieve. And then we've had 2 more rains this winter, and we're at 40%. But if we have the same summer this year that we had last year, we'll be out of water. We'll be at RO stage in August.
And by building Turkey Peak, that watershed's not gonna change. In other words, we still have to catch water at the same place, which is a very small, narrow place.
It's actually not that small, 447 square miles.
Okay.
It's a pretty big catch, but you have to, and surprisingly, and I didn't know this until I got on the water board. If all the tributaries and the lakes back in the watershed are full, you know, a 2-inch rain fills Palapinto Lake.
Yeah, if they're full.
Yeah. So.
But if not, they have to
So,
fill
so,
first
so
and
we are not, mineral wells and most of Palapinto County is not in a drought. The maps, we're out of the drought. We've had rain. We just don't have, all that water didn't get in our lake. And it will, and so if you, well, let's talk about, I mean, Turkey Peak is going to be combined with Lake Palapinto. We're gonna have both of them. We're not getting rid of Lake Palapinto, but it's gonna overflow into Turkey Peak, and we're gonna have close to 50,000 acre feet of water. So
twice as much as what Palapinto has now.
just about,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way I look at it, is twice as much. And that can withstand a 2 and 3 year drought, because it's twice as much water. Okay, and there are a couple other things too. Turkey Peak is 613 surface acres. Palapinto Lake is
About twice that.
yeah, maybe more than
Maybe
twice
more.
that, more than twice that. So the evaporation of Turkey Peak is not,
The depth
is
of Turkey Peak
gonna be
versus the
not,
depth of Palapinto.
right, it's not gonna be near as bad as Lake Palapinto. So, you know, we've been behind the ball since 1963. I mean, this is not something that happened the last 2 or 3 years. This is, and we've been knowing that this was coming. And as early as 2014, 15, we thought that the Turkey Peak Dam would be maybe a $21 million project, or was it? It might have been a little bit before that. Now it's 200 million. Same thing. And I mean, the design has been tweaked, and some of those things are inherently, they cost more than the first just kind of rough drawings of what it would take, because you don't want it to fail if you build it, you know. So it's got to be good.
Is it like an earthen dam
It is.
with
Roller compacted concrete.
spillway,
Huh?
Roller compacted concrete.
Roller compacted concrete.
for spillway?
Yep.
So
Spillway.
Don, before we run out of time, when you get this last permit, you start working?
We
There are no more permits.
no more permits. We get the funding
That's what.
funding in June, and we think we're gonna start in 2025, the first part of
6 months later?
2025. It's,
Six
we're
months
gonna, we're gonna
State
start.
not actually disperse funds until November, but the board meets in June.
Then what kind of time frame are we looking at then, from the time you start to the time? you
28.
think we can start catching water? 3 years?
28th. It should be finished. And I think that, I mean, I don't think that's pie in the sky. I mean, I think they're planning on,
Have they estimated what kind of time frame? I mean, it's not gonna fill up in 1 year, right?
Well, could.
Could.
Could fill up in a week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Based on the rains and
Filled up in 1 week.
Possum Kingdom filled up, my dad told me, in 7 days.
Yeah,
Okay.
in the 40s.
Yeah. There's the city of Lucre.
And
That's
A lot of stuff filled down there.
397,000 acre feet. Yeah, it can happen. I think that we could have, if it had already been built in 2014, if Turkey Peak had already been built, I think we could have filled it up 15 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, both of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, is the dam, is it gonna be built close to Santo, the city of Santo?
pretty close.
On the creek.
I want you to, I wanna go into another phase, but any questions about the lake? I mean,
Going another phase there.
anybody else?
I have a question. So, and this may not be relevant, but is that, with that, is it to meet certain, our demand right now, or is that for growth as well? Like, is it, are we going to restrain water taps, or,
Will
I don't
still-
know.
Still
Is there a
be, yeah.
right,
It should be,
accommodate a.
it should accommodate us for 50 years,
Okay.
so. I
Which will
mean,
take care of me and Don, but not you, probably.
Yeah, easily. And I mean, you know, it's the real answer is it depends on what happens, but it's
Sure, the
gonna,
growth of the county.
much better, you know, we'll know much more after it's built. I mean, you know, but maybe then technology, you know, does something different and we can augment that with something else. So I mean, I've got, you know, I mean, y'all don't have questions about why aren't we dredging the lake instead of building a new one,
I
and
think those are-
why aren't we doing a pipeline and
We're gonna have to do it eventually anyway. Not in my lifetime.
dredge the lake?
Yeah.
Never happened.
Never
Yeah,
happened.
It'll happen.
dredge it.
You have no watershed other than what you got right now. You got
TC.
Where do you-
Rock
where
Creek
do you
here,
put
and
the
South
cement?
Bend there. That's all you got in the county. Ione Creek was too damn far. Keachai Creek, not enough. Where else you gonna go?
Yeah, you're,
Oklahoma? They're not gonna sell you any water.
Oh, it'd be cheaper to build a whole new lake than it would be.
Well,
to
where you gonna
dredge
build it?
That's what we're doing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You'll get cross basin transport
You're
of
still gonna-
water before you get that. You'll get the states agree to cross basin transport from South Texas, Southeast
think
Texas
so.
up to here before you'll get
Ain't
that.
no water in South Texas either.
Yeah, they're releasing it from Lake Livingston. And so that released water, we could pipe up here, but we've gotta get interbasin agreement and that has to go through the legislature. And once, cause right now that's illegal.
Okay, but I don't think so.
I nominate
That's our
John Barry to
closest.
be on the next water board.
Here, here.
it's,
He doesn't have it
Bottom-
to do.
Sound like you know what you're talking
Bottom
about.
line is,
I
we kicked the
appreciate
can
it.
down the road for
Makes
30
sense.
years, and we don't have any more road to kick the can down.
It's
Yeah,
50 years.
it's got do or die right now. You're right, you're right.
it is do or die now. And if we for some reason say,
Wow.
we don't wanna do this, and it's on the board, it's been approved by the state has done their own testing about,
Yeah.
are there other alternatives? And they've concluded, we wouldn't have got our permit if they concluded that we had a better option.
That's right.
So the people that tell you they have a plan, that's a lie. They do not have a plan. And interbasin transfers, Houston is having trouble getting water, so you think, that, and that's in their own basin, so you think somebody over there is gonna send us water?
No way in hell.
No, not gonna happen. I mean, that, you know, not anytime soon, for sure. So, and if we don't take care of ourselves and we get in an emergency, what's the state gonna say? You had it on the books.
Right.
You know, you didn't build Turkey Peak and we approved everything and you acquired the land and you still didn't build it?
That's just
I
too
agree
bad.
That's, I mean, they're gonna say, well, you know, good luck, you guys,
Yeah.
but you had your chance. So I mean,
Yep, you're right.
and that's the next part of my presentation is we have early voting for our city elections starting April 20th. And we have people from out of town coming over here and organizing people to recall council. Now think about that for a minute. What the hell is that about? I mean, would I go to Stephenville and recall a councilman or a grant? I mean, who's gonna do that? I don't know the reason, but I don't like it. I can tell you I don't like it at all. And the thing that's going to, I think, hurt us the most is people being ignorant about what they're saying. I will lower your water rate. And I will also make sure you don't have any water. They don't tell them that part,
That's right.
but I mean, that's what they should be telling them, because that's what's gonna happen.
Is that the pitch though, that they're trying to,
Lower the
harvest them for their own?
Yes.
There has to be some kind of
Gotcha.
motive for that,
Okay.
there has to be.
There has to be a motive somewhere, I just don't know what it is, and I don't know that any of us do. I mean, you
I don't think
can,
They know, they're just disgruntled, they're
Hey,
agitators,
hey,
they don't have any
Right, and about
clue, and
the-
they don't, they're,
About the water, about the dollar,
They do.
about the water. Right.
so, we have, I'm also a member of the Mineral Wells Tomorrow PAC, and, we need your help in getting the word out to voters. I firmly believe that if I'm for an issue and David is not, he can vote his way. If he's an informed voter and he thinks different than I do, more power to him. That's what we're about. You don't have to vote my way, but if he doesn't have all the facts and he doesn't, he's been told a lie, well, then I think it's my job to get the truth out so he can at least consider it. And that's where we are with the Mineral Wells Tomorrow PAC. So, we've got, I brought 2 of them today. It has some question and answers. What about our water and what to do, but, we better get behind, we need some money. We've been, the last couple of weeks, we received some money, but this is a campaign and we need money to pay for brochures like this and sheets that can tell people how to vote, cause the other side has got their sheets and somebody's paying for that. I don't know who it is, but somebody's paying for it, so.
they're really nice too. One was on a door of a house that's vacant of mine, and it's a nice little laminate thing, and all it says is, lower your water bill, vote for these people. It doesn't say anything about why not to vote for, or to recall, but it's just the most elementary thing that if somebody doesn't know what they're talking about, they look at it and that's their ammunition.
Well, and I'm talking to, most of the people here are informed. You may not know about the inner workings of the water district or something, but I think, this is not something that just came up, and it's not a whim that the city council just decided to, hey, we're gonna build a lake and charge everybody for it. This has been in the works for a long time. And the problem is it's not gonna get cheaper. The faster we get it built, the less the cost. And if you think that's not right, you haven't been looking around, because time is money.
Is it too expensive to stuff the water meter, the monthly bills with some kind of information like you put out?
I'm not an expert on that.
Yeah, you mean like a little pamphlet that comes
Yeah,
out of the
just
wall?
stick-
Yeah, the reason, maybe explain the reason why we've had to raise the water
Some
bill.
kind of information.
Well, I know, was it on a nice little glossy thing that had some like colors
It
on
was quite attractive, I did it myself.
But I don't remember seeing that, but I remember seeing all this other crap that's been going around my door.
You didn't see it,
Because it's
David, because you're
included
like
in
me. You just look at, you just look at the bill and you throw everything else in the trash.
Allison does that for him.
Yeah.
Allison does that.
Well,
Hey,
no,
Don,
she doesn't either.
Do you have a
Direct
fundraising goal?
deposit is actually.
Huh?
Do you have a fundraising goal for your PAC?
Yeah, I think we need probably $15,000.
More.
More, yeah,
15,000 more or more than 15?
15,
No,
more
no,
than
wait,
what
what-
you've
More than
already.
15.
more than what we have.
John, are you breaking up the checkbook?
Get close.
Yeah, we need to, back up our things that we've ordered, so that we have it when the bill comes in and we can pay it, yeah.
I understand.
Any more questions?
Good program.
Doing great.